Hi guys, I'm Ryan Houston and welcome to my fly tying channel. Your video is about to start shortly. Please take this opportunity to hit the like button down below, leave some comments, tell your friends. Interaction, likes, subscriptions help my channel to grow and help me to keep producing content for yourselves. If you're new to my channel, check out the other videos that I've got. There are over 500 videos at this stage, so there should be something there for everybody. Again, video is about to start. Hit that like button down below. Hi guys, so what we're going to tie tonight is a sort of general attractor pattern for the Yellowstone area. This fly is called Buck's Bug and it was invented by a guy called Buck Goodrich. So it's tied on a sort of a, not your standard length hook, so something like with an extra bit of length to it. So this one here is a B830 Kamazan, but you'd use mustads, use Tiempos, whichever sort of slightly longer shanked hook suits yourself. Now this is a size 10 and we have this is a 3.2 mil bead, but just match the size of the bead to the size of the fly that you want to tie, or how fast I suppose you want it to dive. Now I'm going to use a brown thread for this and I'm using a Dandel 6.0, and the reason for that is because I'm going to put a brown hackle on the front and I think it would just mesh in slightly better than using the black tying thread. So for the tail on this I'm going to use an orange Antron and I'm going to use that to secure my bead as well in a certain way, so you'll see what I mean. So what I do is I tie on the Antron here at the back, and then I want to keep holding the Antron here as you wrap over till you get it tight up to the back of the bead, and then it just gives you a little bit of extra bulk to help when we go to bulk up and create the dam at the back of the bead. So I'm just going to take that down to where I now have these two strands at the back, and that's going to create my tail, and then I will trim that off and head back up towards the front here, and then I'm just going to make a dam of tying thread . Going, come back with what I'm doing is I'm travelling down the shank a little bit, and that'll create a little bit of a taper rather than a step to this. And when you're happy with it, then you can just take a little bit of clear varnish or glue or whatever you want and just set that in there, and that should hopefully make this body construct stronger. The other thing I would say is, because there's Antron down the body, I'm just going to run a little bit of a thin varnish onto that. I don't want it to go into the tail, but what I do want it to do is to seep through it. That will meld it to the hook, and it'll also prevent it from absorbing water and therefore rusting the hook. So next I'm going to add gold oval rib. Notice I took that right up to the head and then wrapped it back, and that's because it's going to give me an even body to wrap, or sorry, an even underbody, and therefore a neater end result. So the body of this fly is peacock herl. So what I'm going to do is take two peacock herls, I'll slide them onto the hook and allow this to slide back till near the tips. Tie it back to where it meets my tail, and then I'm going to stretch my thread out, and I'm going to take the two peacock herls out here, stretched along my tying thread, and then I'm going to start to spin those. Now you'll find this quite slippy, but if you can employ the little stripped off tag ends you'll get a neater result. So once I get it started, I'll make a few wraps, then it'll start to get a little bit looser and I have to tighten it up again. You can't tighten it the whole way to begin with, otherwise it will just get tighter and tighter at this end and snap the fibers. But this will give you a very even herl body, and it also, I think, gives you a stronger herl body because there's actually a core of tie-in thread in the middle of the herl wraps tying them down, so therefore they're less likely to unravel. So we just wrap and tighten and wrap and tighten. And at the end I just let it unravel and tie over the butt ends and trim that off. So next we want to wrap our gold rib and just take it in even turns. Now if you wrap in the same direction with the rib as you wrapped on your herl or whatever dubbing you're using, it will tend to sink into it. If you want it to stand out even more, wrap in the opposite direction. So I say wrap your herl or body in one way and then wrap the ribbing in the opposite direction. So this now calls for a wing of silver flat braid or pearl. Now I think we'll get a more controlled result out of using a mobile. So I'm going to take a couple of strands of a pearl mobile here because I think it'll suit better. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to fold them over, so I now have 4 strands of it, and just cut that. I'm going to lay that on top, tie over it twice, fold this back, and then tie over it. We're just creating a little bit of a saddle here that we can put our hackle onto. And then what I'm going to do is I'm just going to hold these now 8 strands because it was doubled, hold them under tension, take my tie-in or my scissors to the back of the body here and just trim that, and that'll leave them all to one length. So finishing our fly, what I'm going to do is I'm going to use a little, you could use red game saddle, but I'm going to use a little soft tackle cape here. I'm going to strip off the rubbish. I'm just going to hold it by its tip and nip the tip off. Then I just stroke a couple of the fibers forward so we end up with this V sort of arrangement. Now this is the good or outside of the feather, and this is the curved or duller side of the feather. I'm going to keep the dull side towards me and the good side towards the fly, because what I'm going to do is I'm just going to put that up to the side of the fly, then I hold my thumb against it. That allows me to tie across just that little bit of stock that's between the V that I've created, and then I fold it back and tie over that. That's our hackle secured, and now what we'll do is wrap it. What I'm going to do is I'm going to pass it between my finger and thumb as I wrap, and that will double it and make it much neater. Because my finger and thumb are stroking the fibers back as it passes between them. Then I tie it off. Fold it back. trim off the hackle. Okay, so now it's time to finish the fly. So what I'm going to do here is I'm going to take my clear tying, or clear varnish, sorry. I'm just going to varnish my tying thread for 2 inches, say. So you can see those little globs on it. Then I'll wrap that. That'll create like a little saddle or bleb of varnish, and then I can finish off into that. Now, I use my hands for this, but if you use a whip finish tool, this is the time to use it. And that is our buck's bug finished. I have to say it would probably represent quite a few nymphs, etc., and with this orange in the tail gives it that sort of attractor point. So hopefully you like what you see tonight. If you did, give us a like, subscribe, tell all your friends, check out all the other videos on the channel. There's hundreds of them to look at. And until next time, tight lines, and thanks for watching.